I just want to say this. So, I think a lot of people think the way they think just by their upbringing, by the way their peers think, by the way their parents think, and they never really thought about why they think the way they think. And I think mostly everybody, that's just how life goes, and that's how we move. That's how we keep moving. But I always I thought about the way I thought, and I seen things differently, and I read some books, and it made you think about just the way you think about life. Period. So any of my thoughts or any of my my thinking or my opinions on anything, is mostly from learning different ways of thinking about different things, as far as just life, as far as from anything, from from God, from living day to day, from all sorts of things. From reading Brian Tracy, John Maxwell, Thomas Sowell. I've read some I went to a blank. I read a bunch of different books from different people, from different perspectives. And my whole way growing up, my mom was, she was very, giving, very loving person, and she got that from her parents. But she, she was Catholic, so she did believe in God, and she didn't. I don't know if she put too much faith in God. She probably could have put a little more. That things would turn out good. But that's how I got my process, and I kind of took those, and then from hanging out in the streets and being around different people, then I got those thoughts, and then school, and then listening to people, and then that's just how life goes on, and you grow up, and those are your thoughts, and that's the way you think. As for me, like from reading different books and learning different things, I formulated different thoughts, and it changed my thinking, and I think it changed it for the better, because of being more positive, understanding different situations. Just like read the last Brian Tracy book I read, he said, one of his understandings was life is hard, and that's the way life is, and it'll always be like that. A lot of people, want to try to sugarcoat it. If this happens, if the government gives us this, if this and this and this, then life is always going to be hard, right? Life is always going to be a process, a journey, and I accept that journey. So I think a lot of people need to dig into why they think the way they think, right? A lot of people just think the way they think, and they don't think why do they think that way, and is that really helping them progress? And a lot of people in different situations, economic wise or relationship wise, they don't ever think why they're reacting the way they're reacting, or why they keep getting in the same situation. They just keep thinking, if something else around me changes, my situation will get better, which never happens, right? They always, if I can just get this nice job, then everything will change. If I can just get this, thing, then everything will change. And that thinking is not taking responsibility. You're not putting it on yourself. You're putting it on other things happening to make changes in your life. You need to make changes within your life, because that's what you can control, and then change will happen outside of your life. It's a real simple concept. And from reading every book that I've read, from like I said, John Maxwell, Brian Tracy, I have a bunch of audibles. Brian Tracy is one of my favorite. Steven Siebold, Ben Shapiro, a bunch of these different books. Some of them are on history, some of them are on economy, some of them are on the United States, some of them are on like more of values and goals. And the psychology, and like Brian Tracy's Psychology of Success is one of my favorites. And it's just when you start to think more about the way you think, you start to think more, right? If not, you're kind of like a robot, and you're just going off of what's being processed in your computer, right? If I take a computer and I put a program in it, right, and I put the program, and this is the processor, and everything is this, there's a limitation to that computer, right? That computer can only do so much, right? If I update that computer with Windows 25 right now, it's not able to process Windows 25. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're not always changing that processor and always updating and always doing that, you're gonna be stuck in your own way of thinking, and your computer's outdated. Your program is outdated. Everything is outdated. You're not up to date with what's going on and how things are changing around you, and you're not helping yourself become the best. I think because you get stagnant. So, it's just things like that. I think people need to think about a little more, because they get stuck in a way, or they think mostly with emotional. But like Brian Tracy said, from what I just read too, is thinking, then you become emotional. Then after emotion, that's your behavior, right? So you're thinking first, you're like, oh man, I don't like this, and then your emotion comes out, like the anger, the hatred for it, and then your behavior reacts, because now when you're in that situation, your behavior is going to show. You can't really hide it because it's in your mind and it's in your emotions, and now you're just going to act. So I think if you figure that thinking part out, and you figure out like why the way I think, and what is it about, what do I really want, and I think a lot of people have an issue with that. They don't really know what they want. You know what I mean? Like they don't know what at the end of the day do you want. People say, oh, I want a good job, oh, I want to make a lot of money, but what do you want it for? Like, what do you want to make a lot of money for? What do you want a good job for? What is the ending? What is the goal for you? Like, what does that goal lead to? Just getting the job, and what does that do? Does that open more doors for you? Are you able to, what I mean? You got to kind of dig a little deeper. And a lot of people, we're so quick to get something and just quick to short-term goal. We're not thinking about the long-term. We're not thinking about like, what does this lead to? And I think that's just one thing. Like I said, if you want to change, you got to change your thinking. But you got to find out why you think the way you think. A lot of people, like I said, just think the way they think, but they need to figure out why they think the way they think.